The War Eagle side of the rivalry this year is not going to have as much fun as Alabama will this year. I'm sorry
Oh,
to tell
come
that
on.
to Zac Blackerby of Locked On Auburn. I'm so very sorry to inform you. What I say goes. My record predictions have never been wrong. I'm
Yeah.
100% accurate
Uh-huh.
across the board. I've never been inaccurate. So here's where I land on Auburn, Zach. I want to like them
hmm
because they have recruited well and their roster is more talented than what I'm about to predict them to do. I don't think they went out and got the right quarterback for this season. That doesn't mean Jackson Arnold can't be good. I think he could be.
Uh-huh.
But right now, with what Auburn needs, I thought Auburn should have gone out and tried to get Malik Murphy, a guy who has played Power 4 football and won games and has given you a certain floor. They went for the ceiling guy instead of the floor guy. With this year and everything that's on the line, I wanted them to go for the floor guy. I'm sorry to say it. I've got Auburn going 6-6.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a take for sure. Our friends at FanDuel have it at 7.5, that win total. So you are taking the under.
I am.
I'm fine if you take the under, and if you go 7-5, I think that's totally realistic. I think 7-5 and 8-4 are the two most realistic outcomes. And then I think the farther you veer off of that, the more unlikely that it gets. You know, the in real time, I mean, they hosted Malik Murphy and they hosted Jackson Arnold on those, on those visits through the transfer portal. And at that time, I said Malik Murphy as well. Jackson Arnold's really grown on me, though. I mean, for what we've heard throughout spring, and then how he conducted himself at media days this week and all of that stuff, like, we're hearing nothing but good things. And I talked to a bunch of Oklahoma people and folks who are familiar with Jackson. Like, the way they talk about Jackson is it's like, yeah, we messed that up. I mean, you know this from the Oregon side of the Bo Nix transition from Auburn
Yep.
to Oregon. Like, and if you're Auburn, which I'm on the Auburn side of this, like, that's kind of what you're hoping for is, what Oregon and Bo Nix were. You're hoping you're on that side of it with Jackson Arnold at Auburn.
Why do you feel like he's going to be in a better situation at Auburn now than he was at Oklahoma before? I don't think he's in a horrible spot. I mean, anytime you have a guy who is, I don't know, Justin Jefferson light and Cam Coleman that you can say, screw it, he's down there somewhere, and just, chuck and duck.
Yeah.
Anytime you can do that, sure, that's a quarterback's best friend. Go-to target on third down. I get that. I like the Eric Singleton edition as well. But the holistic team, do you think that he's got way more than what he had at Oklahoma?
Yeah, dude, I don't even think it's close. And I think Oklahoma tells you the same thing. I mean, especially on the offensive line, Xavier Chaplin, one of the best players in this transfer portal window. He's being mocked in the first round of several NFL mock drafts. He's your left tackle. They go out and get Mason Murphy at right tackle, which admittedly I do have some questions on, but the coaching staff seems to love him. And then Connor Lew, probably the best center in college football. And you've got Dylan Wade and Jeremiah Wright, who were not the issues on Auburn's offensive line a year ago. So, yeah, dude, like, I actually don't think it's close from what he had around them last year to what he has around them this year. I think it's two totally different conversations. I mean, I think even when you look at when Auburn had a worse roster last year than they do this year, I think when Auburn played Oklahoma, I mean, they had a lot of things go wrong because I think they couldn't execute on money downs. And if that's your argument you want to have for this season, I'm totally okay with that. But to say the roster's not ready to win now because of Jackson Arnold, I have a hard time getting there with that one. If you want to criticize Hugh Freeze and his decision-making in red zones or on third downs on offense and defense, that I will concede to you and say, yeah, like, I think that's a good argument. But to say like Jackson Arnold doesn't have the pieces to succeed, I think you're wrong on that.
Well, what my point is not that he's not in a better situation. I think he is. The Oklahoma offensive line, a disaster. The offensive coordinator since fired. He's going to a situation that maybe this is just my PTSD from last year coming out, because you and I both a season ago on this very program had Auburn going 8-4, and I watched the season play out and went, Why is this team not better? They should have been. And so I struggle to get behind Hugh Freeze is going to fix a quarterback who hasn't actually played a ton of football. He certainly played some, but he hasn't started a full entire season. He's going to be doing that for the first time. And he wasn't able to carry a less than ideal Oklahoma situation. Okay, but you're still going with a guy who hasn't proven to be a top tier quarter. Like, I think best case scenario this year, not for his entire career, best case scenario for Jackson Arnold this year, middle tier quarterback in the SEC. I think that'd be fine. I think that would probably get Auburn to 7 wins.
I think if he's middle tier, I mean, depending on what happens on the other side of the ball, I think Auburn would be in a great spot because we agree that he's a step up from Peyton Thorne, correct? Do we need to argue about that?
Talent wise, yes, he absolutely is.
Let's don't add caveats here. Yes or no? Is he a better quarterback? Is he a step up from Peyton Thorne? Just yes or no. Like, let's don't act caveats.
No, yes or no. I say no. I saw Peyton Thorne lead a Michigan State team to 11-2 season.
That's fascinating. So I mean, this Peyton Thorne, at Auburn was a pick 6 when all they had to do was hand the football off against Oklahoma.
It's the floor. Well, if all they had to do was hand the ball off, that's a coaching issue more than a player issue. But it's the floor ceiling debate.
But I think it's still the fact that he is a better quarterback than I think Peyton Thorne in several situations was a net negative for the Tigers.
Jackson Arnold got benched at Oklahoma last year. He was a net negative for Oklahoma for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing for a team that replaced an entire offensive line and did not do a good job. And all their starting 5 wide receivers missed time last season. I mean, to act like it's the same situation, I think, is lazy, and you usually do your homework on all this stuff. So I'm a little surprised.
I just can't
freeze. I'm cool with that because I have plenty of questions about the scheme and the play calling. Another aspect of this, Spencer.
Okay, hold on. Before you raise that point, my comparison between Thorne and Arnold is a floor and a ceiling conversation. Peyton Thorne's floor should have been higher than what it was last year. So I am not going to jump into the camp of assuming Jackson Arnold has magically and quickly elevated his floor when I just saw Hugh Freeze get Peyton Thorne to play at a level that was lower than I thought he was capable of.
Got it. And then another, I think, super important aspect of this is, Auburn went from having one of the best kickers in the country to having one of the worst kicking situations in college football last season. I mean, when it came to scoring and red zone opportunities, Auburn was among the worst, not just the SEC, but all of college football. They couldn't buy a field goal. McPherson is healthy now. He won whatever battle that he was having with the sickness that he had. He's back. And if Auburn makes field goals, that's 2 more games last season right there. I think with a combination of fixing the special teams and addressing that, as well as what I believe is a step up at the quarterback position, I think that's 3 more wins. And so that's why I'm at 8-4.
If they win that first game on the road at Baylor, that will It's so huge. So huge.
I have a hard time seeing them get to 8 if they lose that game.
Oh, I don't think there's any way they get to 8 if they lose that game. I think that
unless you I mean, those first 3 road games, you've got to go 2-1. You've got to go 2-1.
Auburn's got to be a road. They have to be road warriors all season long. They've got to go at Baylor, at Oklahoma, and at Texas A&M. I mean, those are their first 3 Power 4 opponents. You don't get any of them at home. That's a pretty brutal stretch. And of course, they, as crazy as it sounds to say, it's not. They have to go at Vanderbilt later in the year, a team that they just lost to, and Diego Pavia is back. And I do think that Vanderbilt overperformed last year, and I think Auburn will ultimately win that football game. Because like I said at the beginning of the segment, Zach, I want to like Auburn. I just last year was so far off. And then when they went at Texas A&M, they beat Texas A&M at home. And then they when they beat Texas A&M, who was playing some good football at that time, I watched that and thought, oh my gosh, this team right there, that one, that's what I thought we were getting in year 2. and we didn't. So that's why I struggle to get on board the confidence train that Hugh Freeze is going to fix Jackson Arnold right away, and that Auburn is going to maximize their talent, because last year was such a dramatic underperformance for the amount of talent that is on the roster. I mean, it's what, 3 straight top 15 recruiting classes for the Tigers with a couple of top 10s?
Two straight top 10s, and then that other one was one that Hugh Freeze essentially built in like 2 weeks, where he flipped Keldrick Faulk, Kane Lee, Connor Liu. I mean, guys who are going to be NFL players. I think that class finished around 20-ish or so. Harsin just left him in such a tough spot. Do you have the schedule in front of you? Because I always mess up the order. After Georgia,
yes,
there's a 5-game streak before they play Alabama, where I think they will be favored in all 5 of those games.
Missouri, at Arkansas, Kentucky, at Vanderbilt, and Mercer. I think they'll be favored over Mercer. I think.
I hope so.
I hope
so. If not, we're going to have some major big picture conversations.
Yeah,
for sure. You know, I think Mizzou's going to be the toughest of those 5 teams. I
wouldn't sleep on Arkansas.
A big fan of Taylor Green. I think with their schedule, they're just going to be broken by that point. I mean, they have a brutal schedule.
I think
Sam Pittman even employed at that point. I'm very high on Taylor Green in Arkansas, though, so I totally agree with you.
I think in that 5-game stretch, Auburn goes 4-1.
If they go 4-1, I think they have a solid shot at getting to 8-4.
And then the Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare. I tell you, I've seen some crazy things go down. There is voodoo magic around that place, and we all know it. It's just a matter of whether we have the courage of our convictions to admit it.
Oh no, I think folks in the state are totally aware of it. I think they're totally aware of it. And look, like if Auburn's in a spot where they have 7 or 8 wins going into the Iron Bowl, which is, you know, what I'm hoping for. It doesn't sound like it's what you're predicting, which is fine. But I do think like a good Auburn team doesn't typically lose at home in the Iron Bowl. It's just been lately. It seems like we haven't really been able to get to that point in November. That was Hugh Freeze's messaging consistently in SEC Media Days. At the end of the season, the standard for Auburn is for them to be in the CFP discussion. So we'll see how far off they are.
Well, if they get there, I will be eating a healthy amount of crow right here on this very program that we call Locked On College Football, which is over for today. And I know that makes you all sad, but I will be back tomorrow because we're the Locked On Network and it's your team every day. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. And until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.